Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Twameva Mata Cha Pita Twameva Twameva bandhuscha sakha Twameva Twameva vedya dravinam Twameva sarvam mama deva deva Twameva sarvam mama deva deva. Jai Guru. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Paravavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So we're making our way through our 8th chapter. What verse are we on this evening?
Starting with verse 12.
Verse 12, chapter 8, verse 12. Will you help us out, please, Deepa?
Yep.
Installing. Click, 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 click. 30%. Installing. Click, 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 click.
Two together.
Okay.
Sarvadvarani samyamya manohridi nirutya cha murdhanyadhayatmanah pranamastito yogadharanam omityekaksharam brahma vyaharan mam mamanusmaran yaprayati tyajandeham sayati paramam gatim. Having closed all the gates, having confined the mind and the heart, having fixed the life breath in the head, engaged in the practice of concentration, uttering the one-syllabled Om, the symbol of Brahman, and remembering me, he who departs, leaving the body, attains the supreme goal.
So again, the exoteric meaning has to do with the yogi's last conscious exit from the body at the time of death. But the deeper meaning is this is about meditation. And I think we touched on this last week. So when we study pranayama, which is the control of vital energy through the control of the breath and through visualization, we subdivide the prana into what we call the pancha vayu, the 5 subtle airs: prana, apana, samana, dhyana, and udana. So the inhale, the exhale, digestion, circulation, and udana is thinking. So you slow down the breath, and the frequency and volume of thought slows. So this is the value for those people who are practicing in the Raja Yoga tradition, doing asana and then pranayama. But this udana also has two other functions, and we touched on these last week. The first is it's the ejection button when you die. It is udana that takes the subtle body out of the physical body at the time of death. And if you've ever been at a deathbed, frequently what people will see, there's the physical body and a person is going through that last kind of breathing. And then if you have inner vision, some people would call it clairvoyance, you can see what looks like a shimmering of the subtle body above the physical body. And then at the last breath, and some people call it the silver cord, right? And then there's this energy. As the subtle body is released from its tether to the physical. Now, some yogis do this consciously. They sit in meditation and they withdraw all the sense perceptions and the prana, and then they push the psychic ejection button and out they go. It's not necessary. You can be under general anesthetic, you can have had a stroke. What happens really is you build the quality of your mind at the moment of death through your life. So don't get all upset. Oh, I can't take any pain medication because I need to be conscious at the moment of death. No, if you've got cancer, take the meds. It's going to be okay. You build the disposition of the after this life and the next life through an entire lifetime. Are there any questions about this? Now, the deeper understanding of it is what we do in meditation. I talked about this last week, quoting Socrates from the Phaedo, one of the dialogues of Plato, where Socrates says, what else is philosophy but practicing dying? Philosophy was his word that he used for sadhana. What it literally means is philosophos, the love of wisdom.
Who said this?
Socrates. He was a man of realization, in my opinion. Plato, I'm not so sure about, but Socrates, definitely. Socrates, definitely. So, keeping in mind that these metaphors about what to do at the time of death are really about meditation. What do we do in meditation? I withdraw my awareness from the body. I withdraw my awareness from the prana. I withdraw my attention from the mind. I withdraw my attention from the intellect. chanting with the mind fixed on me. And again, Krishna's in a full state of yoga. When he says me, he means the self, yourself. Now, let's talk a little bit about Om. Pranava, Omkara. This sacred mantra that occurs all through the Vedas, through all the sacred literature. There's one entire Upanishad that's completely devoted to understanding. Oh, who do we have in Zoom land tonight? We've got Hugh and Mark. Who else?
Sheila,
Hi,
namaste.
Sheila.
Hi, how are you doing? And Shilpa is here too.
Oh, hi.
Hello. We're both in LA.
Okay, it's all right, but this is subtle stuff that we're going to talk about
Okay.
and but I think you guys know enough.
Okay.
So, Mandukya Upanishad is the shortest and the subtlest of all the Upanishads. It's only 12 mantras. And the first mantra, I'm just going to give it to you in English because we got a lot of non-Sanskritists here. Om, the word, is all this. So when the Upanishads use the term sarvam idam, all this, that's jargon for the phenomenal world. Whenever you see that in the scriptures, it means the phenomenal world. All the objects, all the emotions, all the thoughts, all the things, all the beings is termed sarvam idam, all this. So the Upanishad says, Om, the word, is all this. That which is beyond all this is also Om. So the very first mantra, we have this understanding of what we call Sa Guna Brahman and Nir Guna Brahman. Sa means with, Nir or Nis means without. Guna means a quality. So Brahman with qualities and Brahman without qualities. What does that mean? Your very experience of I, aham, is Brahman without qualities. Who sees the phone? Like, that's yourself. Now, if we inquire into the nature of the self, we see there's nothing there but awareness itself, witnessing consciousness, never known as an object, but the eternal subject. Aham, I. Saguna Brahman, what is this world? It too is Brahman. Brahman with qualities. And the scriptures talk about the dream state. You reenact the process of the macrocosm at night in your dream. In a dream, your one undivided mind refracts, splinters, shatters into knower, knowing, and known. You have a dream body where you peep out at a dream world and you see dream phenomena. And inside you have dream thoughts and feelings. To the dreamer, it's just like this. But when you wake up, oh, that was so weird. Thank God it was just a dream. It was just imagination. Sa guna manas, mind with qualities. All this is consciousness appearing as name and form. Sa guna Brahman. So the Upanishad says all this, the phenomenal world, Saguna Brahman, is Om. That which is beyond all this, meaning yourself, is also Om. And then it says Om is divided into what they say is Chatushpada, 4 quarters, or literally 4 feet. But doesn't mean like the 4 feet of a cow. It doesn't mean there are 4 mind states. It goes on to say, stands for the waking state, U for the dream state, Ma for the deep sleep state, and the 4th is Turiya, the 4th plane. That's not a super conscious state, some other wackadoodle mind state. It is 4th in our series of discussion, but it's another name for you. You are the consciousness in which the waking, dream, and deep sleep states revolve. You never change. So Om has 4 parts, A, U, Ma, and silence. A, waking state, U, dream state, Ma, deep sleep state, and the silence is yourself. And whenever we chant, oh, make sure you chant all 4 quarters. And it implies practice. Who here has a mantra? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Okay. Your mantra always needs to be surrounded by silence. Shivaya, Shivaya, Shivaya. Oh, so the invitation in this particular shloka, chanting Om, deeply understanding the phenomenal world of the waking, dream, and deep sleep states, U, and Ma, is consciousness, and the silence is the place wherein we first begin to see our true nature. So here Krishna says, with your mind, how does he say it? Focused on me. He doesn't say focus. He remembering.
Having closed all gates, having confined the mind and the heart, having fixed the life breath in the head, engaged in the practice of concentration, uttering Om, the symbol of Brahman, remembering me, he who departs.
Yes. So what it means here, and all the first parts are about preparing for meditation, closing the gates, meaning withdrawal, sense withdrawal, stilling the mind if you choose with the breath, practicing intense quiescence of mind, chanting Om with the attentive faculty turned within. Koham, who am I? I am that heartless Brahman. And when it says he goes to me, you don't get glued onto Krishna. Doesn't mean you go to heaven. Hi, Krishna, how you doing? I've been waiting to get here. No. It means the yogi sees Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Not I know Brahman, not I meet Brahman, not I go to Brahman, not I merge with Brahman. This is all language because it falls short of what happens. The Upanishads, the Mahavakya thunders, Aham Brahmasmi, I am. So this is the deeper meaning of this particular verse. In your meditation, see, withdraw your attention from the phenomenal world. Still the mind and still the breath. Turn the mind within. Chanting Om. Knowing what it means. All phenomena perceived and the perceiver is Krishna, is Brahman. And in that space between your thoughts, ma, and silence. Notice the knower. Again, you will never see yourself as an object. Who Krishna really is the subject. Later on, we'll get a chapter, Kshetra Kshetranyacha. Kshetra means the field, Kshetranya means the knower of the field. Field here means like a field of battle, but that's the exoteric meaning. The deeper meaning, it means my entire field of experience. Who is the knower of the field in every field of experience? That's you. Believe me. Wonderful, wonderful shloka. Any thoughts on it? Next one.
Ananyacheta satatam yo mam Smarati nityasha tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yogina. I am easily attainable by that ever steadfast yogi who constantly remembers me daily, not thinking of anything else, O Partha.
Yes. This again is a very important shloka. Easily attainable, easy to perform. Self-realization is not difficult. You don't have to have a high IQ. You don't have to be born as a Brahmin. You don't have to be a man as opposed to a woman. You don't have to even be an Indian. You don't have to know Sanskrit. But self-realization is very rare. And it's very rare because nobody wants it. Dario and I were talking about a friend of his who he thinks is strung out on drugs in a homeless encampment. And the question that is so baffling, you go up to a person like that and say, you know, if you want to get clean, I'll take you to rehab. Dario, what's usually the answer?
No, I don't want to, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who here has read Dante's Divine Comedy, or at least the Inferno? Any of you? There's a very chilling scene when Dante is there getting ready to get in the boat with Charon, to cross the river Styx into hell. All the souls of the damned are lined up on the banks of the river Styx. And they're filled with glee and joy and anticipation. They can't wait to get into hell. Isn't that a chilling image? Who of us have gone back to an abusive relationship?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, yes.
Who of us have gone back to a way of living that we intellectually know leads only to misery and suffering? Who of us have read the scriptures and knows intellectually that it's my craving itself that hurts so bad, but I hang on so much. I've got to have it this way and I won't let go. That's you and me on the banks of the river Styx. Can't wait to get into hell. It's the human condition. Even when the Lord himself said, easy to perform, all you have to do is give up everything and follow me, as the Master Jesus said. One of Jesus's more well-known sayings, it is harder for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. If we're attached to people, places, things, and conditions, if we make our toys, our cash and prizes, more important than God, no pain. But you don't get to go after the world and rub your face in it and have the peace of the bliss of the self. Why? Because it's the craving itself that's so painful. And the nature of the world, it's other, it's temporary, it's transitory, and you have to struggle to get the stuff. The world changes and my mind changes. I like to say 95 cents worth of work for a nickel's worth of pleasure. It's just bad economics. But boy, do we hold on to our attachments. So mature vairagya. I like to parse this word. The root is raga. Raga means passions. It's not necessarily negative, but normally it's understood my passions for the things of this world. Drugs, sex, and rock and roll, cash and prizes. The scriptures do not extol aragya. Is a prefix that means not. Of stone is aragya. It is not about deadening our hearts. That'll just lead you into depression. We have to take our emotional nature to a higher level. The prefix is V because of the Sunday rules. It changes to Vi. But the prefix V is a superlative. Sometimes it means the opposite. But here it means a passion for a higher purpose, a higher thing, being myself. With all the passion that we have, it's where the mind belongs. Go back in the second chapter, Krishna said, that person who renounces all the desires of the mind, all the cravings of the mind, O Partha, first part, and is satisfied in the self by the self. And they're said to be a person of steady wisdom. There's yoga, all of yoga, right there. That's the teaching of the Lord Himself. And this is just an echo of it.
Should I ask a question?
Well, please do.
I've been coming here for so long, and it still keeps tripping me up. Like, if that is the electable way to go forward, why were our constructs designed to constantly stand on slippery slopes and slide down? You know,
The force of the past. Those kinds of questions, the why questions, are inscrutable. Notice when we go to Viveka Chudamani and Shankara gives us the intelligent 7 questions. Not one of them is why. What is my bondage? How has it come about? How does it continue to exist? How do I get out of it completely? What is the not self? Who is the real self? What is the process of discrimination between the two? Those are the questions that are used. Why does the mind continue to extrovert into the world? The answer I can give you, not what Shankara would say, simply the force of the past maturing. Dario really responded when I said, why do we keep going back to a dysfunctional relationship that causes us suffering? Why did you do that?
Why did I respond to that? Or
But
why
if
did
you
I do
if
it?
you have
Well,
that,
desire, right? So I mean, I think that really is making sense. I think you could answer the
a
question
lot of it's habit.
dualistic way, maybe, but not in a non-dualistic way.
Yeah, but no, in a dualistic way. You know, we bring things in from previous lives. We are programmed as children. We have these deeply rooted sanskaras from the first 5 years of life, and we oftentimes just keep acting them out. But that's not our nature, that's our habits. Please understand that your nature is God consciousness. The stuff that makes us suffer is habit. I'm not saying habits aren't hard to break.
Jim, this is Sheila. I have a question. So,
Yes.
does life keep presenting us with similar situations until we get to maybe learn from them? Like, say past experiences, we keep going back into similar cycles. Is it
Well, very much
like
so,
that?
because we draw these karmically. I used to joke with people, I've been married for 10 years. Same relationship, just the names and faces kept changing. But I kept acting out the same dysfunction over and over again with every relationship. Why? Because it's not out there. My hot button was wired. You know, I was attracted to bad boys, you know? Or you may be attracted to people who are fundamentally broken. Oh, I want to find a bird with a broken wing and I can rescue them. That's a real common one. Somebody who's healthy, no attraction. You get to understand if you've got a broken hot button. But these things are habits. That's all they are. That's all they are. And our parents will train us. Our parents can train us to be, I'm a narcissist. It's your job to make me the center of your universe. A lot of parents do that. I'm not getting emotional support from my friends or husband or wife. So, child, I will emotionally espouse you. It's your job to take care of my emotions. And this is not, put forward verbally, but we're trained to take on those roles. And then we go out in the world and we recreate them. But it's not our nature, it's habit. And the good news is you can change a habit. How? The way to heal the mind is to get out of the mind. And back to Shankara's first two qualifications of a fit student. Viveka, Vairagya cha. Constant discrimination between the self and the not self. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Brahman alone is real. The phenomenal world, fake news, illusion. Vairagya, that desire, we don't achieve it overnight. To give up attachment to all experiences gained through the senses, attachment to family, attachment to friends, attachment to money, attachment to job, attachment to possessions. All is mine to use, none is mine to own. And to renounce our identification with any personal sense of self. I'm not evil, bad, broken, but I'm not really good and wonderful, full of self-esteem. Koham, who am I? Witnessing consciousness. Let all of it go. Simple, not easy. But what Krishna is pointing out here when he says that it's easy for someone with mumukshutva, the burning desire for freedom. But in our illusion, I think what I want is to hit all the green lights of life. I think God's my errand boy, and he should give me everything I want. And I wonder, God's just not doing what I told him to do. And that it makes as much sense as sitting there praying to have light move at 187,000 miles per second. It ain't going to change. God is always God, same yesterday, today, and forever. And God's grace and God's love and God's bliss, which is my essential nature, your essential nature already is. Well, I don't feel it. I'm so sorry. But I'll tell you why you don't feel it. You're attached to the world. You're identified. It's that simple. Well, so and so seems to be happy. They've got a good relationship and they've got a good job and they've bought a house and they go on vacations. Can I have that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what your karma is. But I promise you, if they're attached to those goodies, when they leave, they will suffer. I didn't say if, when. Why? Because everything in this world is impermanent. Was that useful?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Anybody else have any thoughts or questions? And it's okay to be attached to the world. Swamiji knew this, and he would say to us, go after the world. And then he would laugh diabolically. And he would say, let it drop you again and again. Let it kick you in the teeth. It's the only way to kill the ego. Now, I will push back on it. That's the way of the Tantrika. You dive deeply into the world and you let it beat the crap out of you. What's the end result? Okay, I'm done. Those of us who've gone down the road of addiction or have a friend who has, you know that. Or if you've continued to return to an abusive relationship, it's fine, you go, I'm done. But the other way is through deep insight. The world calls to us, come do this, drugs, sex, and rock and roll. We look like we're having fun. But if you're a yogi, you think it through. Again, going back to Shankara, his definition of shama, that peaceful state of mind when it rests in steady contemplation of the goal after having again and again, muhur, detached itself from the chaos of the sense objects. How? Through a steady observation of their defects. Meaning, I keep in mind whatever joy I get through the world is temporary. It's finite. There's the law of diminishing return. First time I make love with a person, it's so exciting. After a year, I can't stand them. What happened? Why are you laughing?
Just the honesty of it. Like, I love it.
The law of diminishing, it's one chocolate, delicious. I eat the whole jar. I want to barf. That's the world. I have a dear friend. When I first started working with him, he was a pizza driver. And then and in a terrible relationship, he got out of the relationship, went back to school at City College. Then he had his desire, oh, I want to be a professor at City College. finished his AA, went over to San Francisco State, got his bachelor's, got a master's degree, started to be adjunct faculty at City College. Went on, maybe it'll be better if I get the doctorate, as an EDD from USF. So now he's been teaching for 15 years. He is so effing tired of the classroom. No blame. That's the world. That's the world. That's the defect. World isn't wrong or bad. It's just little. Trinkets and baubles and bells. So, for the person who has an intense spirit of renunciation, self-realization comes easy. So, the difference between the Tantrika and the Jnana Yogi, they both culminate in intense vairagya. It's just how do they get there? The Tantrika dives into the world, gets kicked into the teeth over and over and over again, learns through direct experience. Enough, I'm done. The Jnana Yogi looks at the Tantrika and says, I don't need to go down that path. I'm going to let it go out of inside. It's the only difference. But if you think the way of Tantra is you get to have your cake and eat it too, you get to be attached to the world and God conscious, no. Someone who told you that's lying to you. Any thoughts on this?
No, I think you're right.
Well, you're a Tantrika, so I bet your teacher ultimately is saying the same thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same stuff, but like I think well, like when you talk about like Agora or something like that, it's like really extreme where it's like, and I don't practice Agora. I mean, I don't even, you could do that in the United States or something, but like, I mean, you just
You
go.
just haven't been south of market.
Dude, I kind of have been south of the mark. Yeah, I mean,
I did. I practiced it.
yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah. It's like, oh God. I don't know. It's just too real. I don't know.
It's very little I haven't done.
It's like it's just
Only to find
Yeah.
no, world is too little.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a lot wiser, I think, especially like looking in hindsight, like to have maybe been a Christian or, you know what I mean? Or like tried to learn from the wisdom of my ancestors or learning from like, other people's misfortune rather than like, but I mean, I guess you were an alcoholic too. So, I mean, it's like, I don't beat myself up or anything, but, so yeah, that's about it.
But if you read St. Augustine, who's a doctor of the church, he's a really good Vedantin.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all.
He says we mistake the giver for the gift. People go after the Lord's gifts and they lose sight of the giver.
Yeah, or like I guess what I'm trying to say is like sometimes it'd probably be smart to not get kicked in the teeth.
Duh.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's, there are people who come into 12-step meetings because they burnt the carrots that morning,
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
all they did, their life is a wreck because, they got drunk and burnt the carrots on the stove. That's their bottom. Or people who don't have to crash cars or go to jail or ruin their health and end up in the emergency room. Other people, you have to be really beaten up. But the point is, Nobody gets clean and sober without hitting bottom. And that's absolutely perfect yoga. Nobody gives up the world until they see that what they're doing is making them suffer. That's the insight. But you and I were like those people on the banks of the river Styx. I want to get into hell. I want a totally dysfunctional relationship. I want to spend all my money so I'm thousands of dollars in debt. Don't we do this? Don't we do this?
I think about too, like the tarot card for the devil. It has these two people in front of, like, Baphomet or whatever, and they're like chained to their
Yeah.
like desires, right?
You
But
got it.
if you look really closely, they're like they could break or like the actual cuff is off. Like they could unravel themselves
Yes,
really easily
yes.
from the vices,
Yes.
but they're choosing
Yes.
to be there.
They do not know they're chained by their own choices.
Yeah, it's
Now,
crazy.
the contrast is the card of the fool. Do you know that card?
Yeah, no, it's actually like an auspicious card, right?
It's incredibly auspicious. So there's this youth, and he's wearing a robe, and it depends on which deck you look at. Sometimes there are 7 wheels on his tunic, sometimes there's 12, because there's some systems of 12 chakras, some with 7. And behind him is a little dog going yap, 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 yap. That's our animal nature, and he pays no attention to the dog. And he carries a stick with a little pack on the back, and his possessions are light, and his only possession, it has an eye on it. Have you ever seen that? That's the jnana chakshu, the eye of wisdom. That's his possession. And what does he do? He steps right off the cliff because he knows the angels will bear him up. He has no fear anymore. So the fool, world's foolishness, is God's wisdom.
So weird. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna try to stop talking, but I was looking at one of the Kula members who from my Tantra Kula who posts on like Substack, and he wrote an article about that, and I was reading it today, and it was just about being God's fool. You know what I mean? It was just about renunciation.
You got it?
And like it was just like, okay, we're gonna renounce the world and we're just gonna live in kind of the glory of God. And the rest of the world thinks, oh, what a fool, you're giving up like the material possessions in the
You don't
world.
have to change anything.
Right.
Just don't be attached. Your karma will move you where you're supposed to be. It's just give up the acquisitive approach to the world. Instead, become a mahasevak, a servant of the infinite. That's the difference. You may have the same job, you may have the same friends, you may have the same band, but the intention is completely different. And if you're not supposed to be doing this anymore, your karma will move you into something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't have to, oh, what's my divine purpose? Am I somebody? Yeah, no, just do good, be good. Take care of today. The end is the means in a different form. Live today as a yogi. That's all we've got. And tomorrow will take care of itself. No, these are good questions, Dario. Anybody else? And you too, was it Sheila or Shilpa that asked the question? Can't remember now.
Yeah, thank you. Sheila. Yeah. I
Okay.
liked the differentiation of the Tantriya and what was the other one?
The Jnana yogi
Jnani
as
Yoga,
opposed to the Tantra
the
yogi.
insight. Thank you.
And that's only a metaphor. It's only a metaphor. And we all essentially do some of both. Sometimes we learn through the hard knocks of the world. But the thing that this verse says is that it's easy to perform. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. All right, next verse.
मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतम् नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानं संसिद्धिं परमां गताः. Having attained me, these Mahatmas, or great souls, do not again take birth, which is the house of pain, and is non-eternal, they having reached the highest perfection, which is moksha.
Yes. So again, we look at it from two viewpoints. So Gita says, for the yogi who attains self-realization, they no longer are born into this world of woe. It's interesting because in the Judeo-Christian paradigm, it posits eternal corporeal life. You're going to be bodily raised from the dead and go to a place called heaven where Aunt Mary and Uncle Joe are going to be there and you're going to live with Jesus and God's going to be on his throne. That's not yoga's paradigm. Yoga's paradigm is it's not only painful knowing what I am as a human being, but that I am. Egoism as a state is one of spiritual impoverishment. What do I mean by that? I'm not enough, there's not enough. I'm restless, I'm discontent. I got to do something, I got to get something. And what Krishna's saying is that's inherently a painful state. The old African American spiritual, soon I will be done with the troubles of the world. So they posit that if you're a realized soul, you no longer incarnate back into the body. What if it isn't true? I had a boss once when I had my church job. I used to be a church musician. And he said, if I die and there's no heaven, I'm going to be very pissed. Because he was giving up a lot to be a priest. And I think he really liked the world. So his renunciation was out of an idea. If I'm a goody-goody, I get to go to heaven. So the yogi understands what being Jivan Mukta is. What is Jivan Mukta?
The soul is liberated while still alive.
Yes, right here, right now. What is the mark of the woman or the man of steady wisdom? They know they're not a person. They know they're not the body. They know they are Brahman. They know the world is Brahman and all the names and forms are just imagination. So whether the physical body appears or doesn't appear makes no difference. This is what the Master Jesus meant when he said, my kingdom is at hand. It's right here, right now. But my kingdom is not of this world. I am in the world, but not of it. Just as in your ordinary mind state, you're not particularly concerned about the disposition of your shadow. If your shadow falls in the gutter, you do not grieve. If your shadow gets very, very long on a summer afternoon, you don't rejoice. If it's an overcast day and you have no shadow, you do not mourn the death of your shadow. It's there, but you have no concern for it. The jnani has no concern for the world. I am in the world, but not of it. The jnani has another playground. So they're not particularly concerned because they never incarnated in the first place. So you can look at this verse from the standpoint of I am in this body and I can't wait until I get liberated and then I don't have to come back. But answer me this. Do you incarnate into a dream? Do you? No. You sure? Sure. Are you in the dream or is the dream in you? Think.
Um,
And are you even, is the dream even really in you? If you dream about a horse, wake up in the morning with a horse in bed with you. No, though the dream is vivid, it's certainly a very real experience of the mind. It's not real. So the jnani has a different viewpoint. She doesn't think, oh, I was in the body and now I am realized and now I don't have to incarnate again. What she understands is, oh, this jiva bhavana, this feeling that I was a person, is a very long and very vivid dream. Sure seemed real. But I've always been Brahman. I just didn't know it. So Swamiji used to say, reincarnation is the genealogy of the ghost in the post. I like to use the example, I'm walking down Grand Avenue and it's dark. There, the street lamp is out. And all of a sudden I see this really tall dude, dark clothes. I'm going, oh my God, it's a bugger. And I'm thinking, Jim, don't be stupid. You're an old man. Now, should I cross to the other side of the street? Should I go back? Should I just trust and keep going on? What what if he's gonna mug me because he's high on drugs? Maybe his mother was on drugs. Maybe he's a crack baby. Maybe there's been generations of drug and alcohol use. I feel very sorry for them all. But that doesn't mean he's not gonna mug me. And then a car comes up behind me in their headlights, hit the mugger. There's no mugger there. It's a lamppost. So the ego is like the mugger in the lamppost. Reincarnation is the story the mind creates. Now, it is a useful paradigm for people in ignorance. Just like we can say in Newtonian physics, objects fall at the rate of 32 feet per second per second. You go to the Tower of Pisa in Italy and you take two objects of different sizes. You take a melon, you take an apple, you drop them, they both hit the ground at the same time. But that's not really what happens. Larger masses, in fact, attract with more force. But the difference in the masses is huge. The difference in mass between a melon and an apple is minuscule compared to the Earth. You study physics, atoms. There's a nucleus with protons and neutrons, and the electrons go around like planets around the sun. No, that's not really what happens. There's fields and there's probabilities and all this sort of stuff. But the Newtonian physics is good enough for basic interactions. So the doctrine of reincarnation is a useful paradigm. But at the moment of realization, we see that it's an incredibly incomplete construct. The self is never born. The self does not change. The self does not get realized. The self does not die. The self is never touched by the Einsteinian world of flux, as Swamiji used to call it, the world of change. Okay, we'll quit here. What verse are we on for next week?
13.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om.